The Finance Committee today continued with its deliberations on the petition to remove the Auditor General Edward Ouko from office on several grounds of gross misconduct and failure to comply with procurement laws. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, which investigated Ouko on allegations that his office purchased an audit vault at an amount far exceeding the actual price and without complying with the law, was the one before the committee. While the recommendations to prosecute Ouko were dismissed by the EACC, they still find fault with him. He is the one who signed the payment order 2 days before he signed the contract. This EACC says was unprocedural.
The person who was in charge of approving the payment voucher declined to approve that voucher, citing the lack of supporting necessary documents to support that payment.
That's not all. The office also paid the entire cost of the goods, 100 million shillings, before the goods had been delivered.
Normally, you'll not find a payment being made prior to execution of the contract. And in the course of that payment, there ought to be a mechanism of securing the money. Because if the supplier does not pay, how do you recover the money?
The EACC also says that from their own investigations and valuation, the real cost of the audit vault was 18 million shillings, yet the Auditor General's office had paid 100 million shillings for it. The Commission also says that there was no need for the Auditor General to use single sourcing, as there are numerous companies that could have set up the software. EACC has been on the money trail, but at the moment there is still no evidence that Ouko was a beneficiary of the loot.
And the evidence we have, this money was stolen. And we have identified the thieves. And we are not talking about 2 shillings, we are talking about a lot of money.
The DPP says he decided not to prosecute Ouko because at the time he received the files, there was no evidence to sustain a case against him.
The DPP is not bound by the recommendations of EACC or any other investigative agency.
An agitated Tobiko says he has been under fire, with numerous individuals questioning his independence and the decisions he has made. However, he says he can always reopen the case.
Even where I have said close the file, an additional evidence becomes available. It is not in one case, it is not in 2 cases, it is in multiple cases. Because I make the decision based on the evidence in the file as before me at the time of my decision.
It would appear that the Auditor General may find himself in a catch-22 situation. He has escaped prosecution for now, but he could still find himself being investigated by a tribunal if the committee recommends so. All in due time, however, until the committee finishes its work. Meanwhile, the High Court will decide on Monday on how to proceed with a case where the Auditor General is seeking to block Parliament, the Speaker and the President from continuing deliberations on the petition. Andrew Ochieng, NTV.
No.